Hey guys, Chairman here with a very special video. Today on this channel, I am making a guide for my friend Joon for his free-to-play, no gacha marathon Honkai Star Rail run. So if you're Joon and you're watching this, hello! Hopefully this guide is going to be helpful for you. And if you're not Joon, this is still going to be a pretty informative guide on how to best maximize the free-to-play characters that Honkai Star Rail offers you. So let's go over which free-to-play characters we're talking about here in the game. So free-to-play characters in the game obviously include the MC, all the paths, Harmony, Preservation, and Destruction. It will include March 7th and her two unique paths, the Imaginary March, the Hunt, and the Ice Preservation unit. She has this really cool animation when switching back and forth. You also get Dan Heng from the Express. You can unlock Natasha and Asta very early on in their respective stories. And then Qingque, I believe, comes. Oh, Herda also. You get Herda in addition to up to 5 of her Eidolons from playing the simulated universe. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. You get Qingque from going to finishing the Forgotten Hall, I believe. At some point in that, you get the Qingque. Technically, Dr. Ratio is a free unit, however, I'm not going to count him for the purposes of this video because my friend Joon just started playing, and obviously Dr. Ratio is not on his account. Serval is also available for free, as well as Xueyi from Apocalyptic Shadow, Lynx from Pure Fiction, and last but not least, Yukong from Forgotten Hall. So, with all these characters, what team do I think is good? I would like to recommend a 2 DPS, 1 support, and 1 healer team comp. The reason why I think 2 DPS is really good for free-to-play accounts is because, generally speaking, your DPSs aren't doing that much damage if you're just playing free-to-play and you're just starting out. So having 2 DPSs makes sure that you're doing enough damage to clear the content that you need. And your support, if their support is really good, can buff both DPSs and you get a lot of overlap with the buffs that your support is bringing to the team. I think one of the best DPSs that you have available is Herda, because you have up to 5 Eidolons for Herda. Herda is also really good for AoE content, which is a lot of the story mode. You just fight a lot of mobs, and Herda is going to give you a really good time against that. Also, she's really good for farming and stuff like that, which is something you'll inevitably have to do when playing the game. So I think a comp with Herda is going to be very, very strong. I think for the second unit alongside Herda, there are 2 really good options right now. We have March Hunt, if you have her unlocked. She has really good synergy with Herda because Herda has follow-up attacks whenever an enemy's HP is reduced below 50%. Every time Herda follow-up attacks, if March has Herda designated as her Shifu, March will get a charge with her passive, and every time she gets to 7 charges, she attacks again. So there's this really good pairing with March, with her specifically with this Shifu mechanic. So you designate her as Shifu, increasing Herda's speed. And then every time Shifu uses an attack or ultimate, which includes a follow-up attack, March will get that charge. So it's going to be really strong alongside Herda. Another really great unit to use for a free-to-play unit is Xueyi. Now Xueyi is going to be a break DPS, which means that she is not your traditional DPS. You're going to be building break percent on her, specifically on this rope. You're going to want break percent. But what makes Xueyi really, really strong and appealing as a DPS for free-to-play characters is her ultimate. So her ultimate ignores weakness types and just reduces the enemy's toughness. One of the difficulties playing free-to-play is you're going to be fighting against a lot of different types of content and a lot of different types of enemies with different weakness types. And it's sometimes hard to have the right team comp to deal with the right kinds of enemies. Xueyi kind of simplifies that with her ultimate, because it ignores weakness types, and it will always reduce toughness no matter what the weakness is. So Xueyi, if you can unlock Xueyi, I think is going to be a really strong unit for a free-to-play account. So either you run Xueyi or you run March as the DPS, the dual DPS setup with your support. Now with your support, if you're running March Herda like this, then your support can actually be Asta. Asta has some pretty good buffs for just in general. A lot of her buffs are really strong in general. So this is the reason why Asa's not ideal, is because her bonus ability Ignite is not going to be in play, because obviously your team's not dealing fire damage, but you're going to be able to increase the speed for your allies, as well as being able to get the stacks of charging, which increases allies attacks. So you basically get just a bunch of attack and speed steroids from Asta, which is going to be really good for your team. And I think Asta, alongside specifically Herta March, this team comp, I think Asta works really well with. But if you're playing, instead of Asta, if you're playing Xueyi, who is a break focus DPS, then you're definitely going to be wanting your break MC, imaginary MC. And the reason why you would want break MC in this situation is because of her ultimate, which is the backup dancer effect, increases break effect by 33%, and when they attack a weakness broken enemy, the toughness reduction is converted into super break. Super break is an additional damage instance that is calculated based off of your break effect. So break effect basically stops applying once their toughness is 0, and Harmony MC translates that break effect into additional damage even when their weakness is broken. So this is just really strong, powerful steroid for break teams, and it's going to scale really well with your Xueyi. So if you like Harmony MC, then I would recommend building this team with Xueyi. If you like Asta, I would recommend not playing Xueyi then, because Xueyi really wants Harmony MC. I would recommend playing March 7th Imaginary. You can also run, if you're fighting like a big boss, there's not a lot of mobs that you need to AoE, you can also swap out Herta for March, and then have March designate Xueyi as the Shifu. So now March is going to be getting charges every time Xueyi uses her attacks, ultimates, and she also has, I believe, a follow-up attack somewhere here. Oh yeah, her talent is a follow-up attack. Yeah. When her karma stacks reach max, she immediately launches a follow-up attack, which will give March an additional stack on her ability. So this is kind of like your team comp to dealing with like single target bosses. If there's AoE bosses, you can swap one of these out for Herta, who will deal better in an AoE kind of circumstance. For your last slot, you can run any healer, either Natasha or Lynx. I recommend Lynx. Lynx is just a better healer in general, because not only does she heal, but she can also remove debuffs. Her ultimate dispels a debuff from all allies and restores their HP, which is really powerful. I believe Natasha can dispel one debuff with one of her Eidolons. I think it's an Eidolon specifically that removes the debuff. No, maybe it's an Eidolon. I don't remember. I know she can remove a debuff, but I don't remember how she does it, and it's a little bit complicated, I think. It might be a passive. Yeah, there you go. Her passive removes a debuff from a target ally with her skill, but Lynx can just do it to everybody with her ult, which is just so much better. Alright, so would recommend Lynx instead of Natasha. So this is like a pretty good, this is a pretty good team for bossing. I would recommend a team like this. If you're fighting like a very tough boss or like a really tough enemy, this kind of team is going to be doing really well for you. Otherwise, you can just replace somebody like March or Xueyi. Let's replace Xueyi here with the Herta. And now you have a good team for general content, mobs, and single target. You have both of them available. So let's enable this team, and we'll just go over a few more things about this team that's really important. So let's talk about light cones. I think light cones are pretty straightforward. In general, the light cone that I really want to point out is for erudition units, you have Seriousness of Breakfast, which is a free light cone you can buy from the Forgotten Hall shop. This light cone is really strong. I have it maxed out and I use it pretty on serval, but I think it's a really strong light cone that you can get. Additionally, if you are playing somebody like March, a really good light cone for March is actually the free-to-play River Flows in Spring light cone that you can buy from the Forgotten Hall. It just gives a lot of good stats, speed, and damage. And even though the buff will fall off if the user takes damage, because of how often March is taking her turns, the buffs will be reapplied very quickly once she takes another turn. So that's going to be really good on her. Also, I don't know if 3-star light cones are available for no gacha runs. I do know you get these a lot in the gacha. I'm not sure if you can get some of them just from playing the game, but if you can, meshing cogs is one of the strongest light cones in the game for Harmony, as well as multiplication is one of the strongest light cones for abundance. So if you have these light cones available, these are really good free to play options. They just have very powerful effects at the cost of slightly lower stats, but the effects definitely carry a lot of the way. Lastly, let's talk about relics. So relics farming is going to be a big time sink for a lot of players, both new free-to-play players as well as long-term players. For a player who's trying to speedrun the game like my friend Joon, I think the most important relic to farm for are going to be speed boots. So 5-star speed boots have 25 speed total, which is an absurd amount. And this speed total is really important to allow your team to act very quickly. As a demonstration of just how much speed 25 is, let's take a look at this level 40 Yukong with no relics and no light cone. She has a base speed of 107. Just by giving her a speed boot that is with like whatever substats, it doesn't really matter. We can see that her speed gets up to 132, which means that if she was running relics like something like the Fleet of the Ageless, which requires your speed to be 120 or higher, just with the speed boots, she has that met. No substats whatsoever. So as you can see, it's really important to get those 5-star speed boots on your entire comp. In general, I would recommend your support to be running speed boot for sure. And if you have a DPS that is based on taking as many turns as possible, I would also recommend speed boots on that unit as well. And of course, your healer should also have speed boots so that they can take more actions and heal when necessary. The only unit that really doesn't need speed boots is a unit like Herta, who can run attack boots because of the way her damage is dealt. Most of her damage comes from follow-up attacks, which activate out of her turn and activate whenever an enemy gets reduced below 50%. So she doesn't really care about how fast she is, as long as she does enough damage whenever she uses those follow-up attacks. So on Herta, speed boots are good, but you can also run attack boots, and it is just as good. The last thing I want to talk about for relics is how good 2-piece sets are in this game. So as you can see, this Herta is like a pretty fully built Herta. We have like really end-game stats on her, but I am still running a 2-piece setup, and this is because there is currently no good 4-piece set for Herta. A lot of the 4-piece effects are very niche and very specific. So even though this 4-piece set, which is Grand Duke's Crown of Netherflame, even though it buffs follow-up attacks, it does not buff it in a way that synergizes very well with the way Herta follow-up attacks work. Because Herta's follow-up attacks is very high frequency, whereas Grand Duke's follow-up attack bonus is a little bit better for lower frequency follow-up attacks. So on Herta, I'm just running a 2-piece ice damage and 2-piece follow-up attack, and is really perfect on her. It does a lot of damage, and it just kind of increases her damage in all scenarios, which is really important for this game. The last thing for Harmony MC is if you can get the 4-piece Watchmaker, this is definitely the best set on her, and like by a very large margin. You can get these pieces for free from just playing the Penacony story and like opening treasure chests on the open world. So it should be pretty easy to get the 4-piece set for Harmony MC specifically. So that's going to be really good. Obviously, if you're playing a healer, you want your body piece to be outgoing healing boost to maximize the healing buff. And last but not least, if you're playing a break DPS like Xueyi, your rope is the only time you get the main stat of break effect. So you just want to make sure that this rope is going to be break effect. As you can see, a 5-star rope will have 64.8% break effect on the main stat, which completely outclasses the break effect that you can get from having the correct 2-piece, which here is 36% max if your speed is 145 or higher, which is a pretty tall ask. So main stat is just the most important thing. You want to make sure your main stats are right So like on your other DPSs, make sure your bodies are like crit damage or crit rate. The substat just does not matter that much because you're getting most of your stats from the main stat. Alright, and that is it for this really quick tutorial. Hopefully that was helpful for new players and especially my friend Joon. I'm looking forward to hearing about your thoughts about Honkai Star Rail and hearing what you have to say once you've completed the game. Good luck on your run and hope you have a great time.